Spicy ladies, let's be honest, we've all been there, right? Staring at our phones, rereading his messages 100 times, laugh, trying to decode every emoji, every punctuation mark, every delay between responses. Does hey mean he's thinking about me? Is haha a sign of attraction or just politeness? And what about that text he sent at midnight? Does he like me or is he just bored? We analyze, we overthink, we screenshot and send it to our best friend like, girl, what does this even mean? But here's the real truth. Men aren't as complicated as we make them out to be. The way they text tells us everything we need to know about how they feel. It's just a matter of knowing what to look for. So today, I'm going to break it all down for you. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to read a man's mind through his texting habits. And more importantly, you'll stop wasting time on men who keep you guessing.
Okay, let's get into it. One of the simplest yet most telling ways to understand a man's level of interest is through how often he texts. Women often spend hours dissecting the content of a message, what he said, how he phrased it, whether or not he used an emoji, but in reality, the biggest clue lies in how often he reaches out. Because here's the thing, when a man is truly interested in you, you won't have to wonder. His actions will tell you everything. Think about it this way. When you're excited about something, a new job, a fun event, a show you're obsessed with, what do? You talk about it. You bring it up. You don't just forget about it for days. Now, apply that same logic to a man who's genuinely interested in you. If he likes you, if he's thinking about you, if he wants to build something with you, texting you will feel natural. He won't need reminders, nudges, or chasing.
Too many women get stuck making excuses for inconsistent guys. Maybe he's just really busy, they say. Maybe he's not a big texter. But here's what you gotta remember. No man is too busy to text someone he genuinely wants to talk to. I mean, come on, we live in an age where our phones are practically glued to our hands. A man who's into you doesn't just forget he can send a message. If he's not texting consistently, it's because you're not at the forefront of his mind. Now, what does consistent texting actually look like? It doesn't mean he's messaging you every 5 minutes. It doesn't mean you need to be in constant convo all day. What it does mean is there's a steady rhythm, an intentional effort to connect. Maybe he texts you in the morning just to say good morning. Maybe he checks in during the day or follows up on something you talked about earlier. Maybe he doesn't let more than a day or two go by without hitting you up. Right now, if you're still watching, hope this is helping. Your comments motivate me so much. Seriously, they help me make more videos you like. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button and leave me a message. Let's keep going.
Here's the real deal. When a man truly values you, he'll prioritize making you feel wanted. And that includes making sure you don't have to wonder whether or not he's interested. You won't be stuck in limbo, checking your phone every 5 minutes to see if he's replied. Instead, you'll feel secure, because he's made it clear through his consistency he genuinely wants to talk to you.
Now let's talk about one of the biggest mistakes women make with inconsistent texters. They compensate for his lack of effort by putting in more effort themselves. If he's not texting, they start all the conversations. If he disappears for a few days, they reach out to check in. If he's only giving breadcrumbs, they cling to those crumbs and try to convince themselves it's enough. But let me tell you something. You should never have to work this hard to get a man to show up for you. When a man is serious about you, you won't feel like you're chasing him. You won't feel like you're constantly reminding him to engage. His texting habits will reflect his interest. He won't just text when it's convenient, when he's bored, or when he wants attention. He'll text because he genuinely enjoys talking to you and wants to build something real.
Now, let's tackle a common argument. What if he's just not a big texter? Okay, sure, not every man loves texting. But even guys who aren't naturally chatty will still make an effort if they like someone. Maybe they'll call instead. Maybe they'll send shorter texts, but they'll be regular and meaningful. Maybe they're more action-oriented and plan dates instead of having long text conversations. The key isn't whether he sends paragraphs, it's whether he communicates in a way that makes you feel prioritized. So how should you respond to a man whose texting is all over the place? Here's the secret. Match his energy. If he's texting you every day, great, respond and engage. But if he's only texting sporadically, Don't chase. Don't send follow-ups. Don't try to force a conversation. Instead, take a step back and see what happens. If he notices the distance and starts making more effort, maybe he just needed a little nudge. But if he doesn't step up, that's your answer. He wasn't really invested to begin with. One of the biggest power moves you can make in dating is refusing to engage in one-sided effort. If a man isn't texting consistently, let him show you who he is instead of trying to change him. Because at the end of the day, the man who's meant for you will never leave you questioning where you stand. So, spicy ladies, the next time you find yourself staring at your phone, waiting for a text that might not come, I want you to ask yourself, do I really want to be with someone who makes me feel this way? Or do I want someone who's so consistent I never have to wonder? 'Cause trust me, the right man won't leave you guessing. All right, spicy ladies, let's talk about something we've all experienced, waiting. You send a message and then the clock starts ticking. 5 minutes, 10, an hour. Maybe you even see the dreaded typing pop up for a second and then nothing. Suddenly you're in full detective mode, analyzing every possible reason for the delay. Is he busy? Did I say something wrong? Should I send another text? Sound familiar? We've all been there. But here's the truth. You don't need to overanalyze a man's texts. His response time alone tells you everything. Let's break it down. When a man is excited about you, he's going to respond quickly. Why? Because when we like someone, we want to talk to them. It's human nature. Think about it. If your best friend texts you exciting news, you don't leave her on read for 6 hours. You respond because you want to. Now apply that to a man you're interested in. If he's enthusiastic about you, if he's excited to build something, he's not going to leave you hanging for no reason. He's going to want to keep the momentum going.
Of course, life happens. People get busy. Work, meetings, gym, needing a break from their phone. All valid reasons for a delayed response. But here's what's interesting. When a man is genuinely interested, he finds a way to let you know. Maybe he can't respond right away, but he'll send a quick, "Hey, super busy RN. Talk soon." Maybe he's in the middle of something, but the second he's free, he checks his phone to make sure you're not left waiting too long. The point is, he's aware. He cares about keeping the connection alive. But what about the guys who consistently take hours or worse days to reply? Here's where a lot of women mess up. Instead of accepting his behavior, they make excuses. Maybe he's not a texter. Maybe he's really busy. Maybe he saw it and forgot. Let's be real. A man who's interested doesn't forget to text you back. I mean, how often do you forget to respond to someone you really want to talk to? Probably never. When you like someone, their messages feel like a priority, not a chore. A man who's into you will want to keep the conversation going. He won't leave you on read for hours while he's scrolling Instagram, watching stories, or posting. Laugh while your message just sits there.
Now let's talk mixed signals. Sometimes a guy starts off texting fast and frequently, but then something shifts. His response time slows. The energy changes. What does that mean? If it happens gradually, he might be losing interest. Sometimes men start strong because they're excited by the chase, but once that initial rush fades, so does their effort. This is where a lot of women try to compensate, texting more, initiating more, filling the gaps he's leaving. But spicy ladies, if a man is pulling back, don't chase. Observe. Let him show you his true level of interest without you trying to fix it. If his responses are still engaging but slower, he might just be settling into a comfortable rhythm. Not every guy will keep up the same texting pace forever. But if he's still showing interest in other ways, planning dates, asking about your day, staying engaged, then it's not a red flag. But if his energy is fading overall, that's something to pay attention to.
And here's another trap. Women start testing him. They think, okay, if I take longer to respond, maybe he'll see how it feels. Maybe he'll miss me and text faster next time. But let me ask you, do you really want to be in a situation where you have to play mind games to get a man to text you? The right man doesn't need to be manipulated into prioritizing you. He does it because he wants to. So what should you do when a man takes forever to text back? Match his energy. If he's taken hours, you don't need to sit by your phone waiting anxiously. Go live your life. See friends, focus on your passions, do things that bring you joy. When you're busy creating a life you love, you're naturally less available for men who can't make up their minds. And when he does text back, pay attention to how you feel. Relieved, like you've been holding your breath, or secure and happy knowing he's showing up consistently. 'Cause spicy ladies, a man's texting speed isn't just about logistics, it's about emotional investment. A man who texts back quickly and consistently is showing excitement. He's engaged. A man who's slow, inconsistent, or hot and cold, he's showing you you're an option, not a priority.
And let me leave you with this. You don't have to convince the right man to text you. You don't have to overthink his response time, wonder if he's too busy, or strategize ways to make him miss you. The right man will show up every time. No chasing required. So the next time you find yourself staring at your phone waiting for a text that's taking too long, shift your mindset. Instead of wondering what you did wrong, ask yourself, is this the kind of energy I want in my life? Because the right man won't leave you waiting. He'll be excited to talk to you. And when a man is excited about you, you'll never have to question it.
When it comes to understanding a man's true intentions, the content of his texts speaks volumes. Too often, women get caught up in the quantity of messages instead of the quality. They think, well, he texts me every day, so he must be interested, right? But the reality is, consistency without depth doesn't equal genuine investment. What he's saying, the effort he puts into the conversation, the topics he brings up, that's what reveals his real level of interest and long-term intentions.
Let's start with how he engages. A man who's genuinely interested in getting to know you will ask questions, real, thoughtful questions that go beyond, how was your day? He won't just give a generic, nice, when you answer. He'll engage. If you say you had a stressful day, he won't just acknowledge it. He'll ask, what happened? Or, that sounds rough. How are you feeling now? A man who's truly into you remembers what you share. If you mention a big presentation on Friday, he'll text that day to ask how it went. If you talk about your favorite coffee shop, he might suggest meeting there. Those little details, they show he's mentally and emotionally invested. On the other hand, if a man's texts are consistently vague, uninspired, or purely transactional, it's a sign he's either not serious or not emotionally available. Some guys text just to keep the connection alive without deepening it. They'll send a casual, hey, what's up every now and then, just enough to stay on your radar, but not enough to make you feel truly pursued. These are the men who enjoy the validation of knowing you're interested, but they have no real intention of taking things further. If his texts never go beyond small talk, generic compliments, or casual flirting, he's likely just passing time, not building a real connection. Then there are the men who only text when they want something. Attention, validation, something physical. You'll notice their messages follow a pattern. They pop up at night when they're bored or want last-minute plans. They might disappear for days or weeks, then suddenly reappear with a, hey stranger, or been thinking about you. Those messages are designed to reel you back in just enough to keep you interested, but they lack depth or real emotional investment. That kind of texting behavior is a clear indicator he isn't looking for something serious. He's looking for convenience. A man's texting style also reveals how he views relationships and emotional intimacy. A man who's open, expressive, and consistent is usually emotionally available. He's not afraid to share his thoughts, feelings, and experiences. He texts not just to chat, but to build connection. He's intentional with his words. He's not just sending messages for the sake of it, he's using texting to bring you closer. But a man who's emotionally unavailable will often keep his texts distant, short, or avoidant. He might dodge deeper conversations, avoid talking about feelings, or steer everything toward humor or distraction. If you bring up something personal or emotional, he might shut down or deflect with a joke. That kind of texting pattern suggests he isn't ready for emotional depth or isn't willing to go there with you. And if he's not emotionally available over text, chances are he won't be in person either. Another key to decoding his intentions, see if he makes an effort to move the connection beyond the phone. A man who's genuinely interested will use texting to set up real-life interactions. He won't just text for texting's sake.
He'll ask when you're free, suggest plans, follow through. He's not keeping the conversation going endlessly without direction. He's using it as a stepping stone to something real. If a man is always texting but never making effort to see you, red flag. Some men use texting to maintain a virtual connection without real investment. They'll flirt, make you feel wanted through words, but never take the next step. That often happens when a man enjoys your attention but doesn't actually want a serious relationship. If the conversation always stays digital, it's worth questioning whether he's truly invested or just enjoying convenient, commitment-free texting.
Another revealing habit. Does he make effort to share his life with you? Does he voluntarily tell you about his day, thoughts, plans, feelings? Or do you always have to pull info out of him? A man who sees you as special will naturally want to include you in his world. He won't just answer your questions, he'll initiate conversations about what's going on with him because he genuinely wants to share those moments with you. And finally, one of the most important things, do his words match his actions? Some men are great at saying the right things, but never follow through. They'll send sweet messages, make big promises, tell you how much they care, but when it's time to back it up with effort, they fall short. If a man's texts are full of affection, but he's not showing up in real life, his words are empty. Pay attention. Words are easy. Consistency and effort are what truly matter.
At the end of the day, a man's texting habits reveal way more than we often realize. When a man is genuinely interested, his messages have depth, consistency, and purpose. He texts to connect, not just kill time. He asks about your life, remembers details, shows real interest in who you are. He uses texting to build something real, not for validation or convenience. Most importantly, he makes you feel secure, not confused. So next time you're analyzing a man's texts, take a step back. Look at the bigger picture. Are his messages making you feel valued, respected, appreciated? Or are they leaving you confused, frustrated, like you have to work for his attention? A man who's truly interested won't just send texts. He'll send clear signals he's invested. And that's something you should never have to second guess.
When it comes to texting, effort is everything. A man's level of effort in his messages directly reflects his emotional investment in you. It's not just about how often he texts, it's how he texts. The energy, thoughtfulness, engagement he brings to your conversations are clear signs of how much he values the connection. Think about a time you were really excited about someone. Did you wait hours to text back? Send one-word replies? Of course not. You put in effort because you wanted to talk. Men are the same. If he's interested, he'll show it. His messages will be more than surface-level check-ins or dry responses. He'll engage in conversations that matter. He'll ask about your day not out of obligation, but because he genuinely wants to know. He'll remember little things you mentioned and bring them up later, showing he listens and values what you said. On the flip side, when a man's effort starts fading, it's often a sign his emotional investment is fading too. Maybe he used to send thoughtful messages. Now it's just, hey, or what's up? Maybe he used to initiate. Now he only replies when you text first. If you're doing all the work to keep the convo alive, red flag. Relationships, whether new or old, should never feel one-sided. Effort in texting isn't just frequency, it's consistency. A man truly invested won't text nonstop for a few days, then disappear for a week. He won't go from sweet, detailed messages to short, lazy responses overnight. Emotional investment isn't sporadic, it's steady. He doesn't have to text every minute, but he keeps the connection alive with genuine effort, even when life gets busy. The biggest sign of a man's true feelings is consistency. One cute good morning text doesn't mean he's in love. Just like one slow response doesn't mean he's losing interest. It's the pattern over time that tells the real story. If he shows up every day, makes you feel secure, puts in consistent effort, then he's serious. But if he's hot and cooled, 1 minute all over you, the next gone, it's because he's either unsure or keeping options open. Final thoughts, spicy ladies. Stop overanalyzing one text and start recognizing patterns. When a man is truly interested, his actions make you feel secure, valued, wanted. If you're constantly questioning how he feels, that's your answer. He's not giving you enough to feel safe. So next time you catch yourself obsessing over a message, ask, does his texting pattern make me feel chosen or confused? If it's the latter, you deserve better. And trust me, the right man will never leave you guessing. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies, make life beautiful. Thank you for watching, and God bless.